Good morning. Good morning and welcome to Allen Avenue Unitarian Universalist in-person and online worship. Whether today is your first time here or you've been coming for years, we're so glad you are with us. My name is Ann Packard and my pronouns are she, her, hers, and I am a member of the Board of Trustees. We are a growing community that transforms lives through the power of love. Our mission calls us to celebrate diversity, encourage spiritual growth, and promote social responsibility while we travel on and care for this earth. Welcome also to those at home who are on Zoom. If you're attending for the first time, please go to our website and fill out the welcome card so we can know more about you. Do we have announcements? Okay, if you are looking for announcements, look in your order of service and other places. I'm sorry, what? There was one in the box. Ooh, I forgot to look. Am I in big trouble, Diane? All right, I'll go on and I'll come back to it. I won't skip it. Thank you. Okay, please join us after the service today to welcome our new members. Cake and coffee will be served in the back of the sanctuary. It was about cake, it was important. Definitely. Now we invite you to take this opportunity to silence your cell phones so that we can be fully present to one another. After the service, please grab a cup of coffee and some cake and welcome and celebrate our new members. We encourage you to find someone you've never met before and introduce yourself. Those on Zoom can stay on and connect with one another on Zoom. And now let us center our hearts and minds with the ringing of the chimes.
Good morning. Again. My name is Reverend Tara, and my pronouns are she, her, or they, them. And I am the transitional minister here at A2U2. And it is good to be together, good to see each and every one of you this morning. So this morning, we'll be exploring the Unitarian Universalist theological grounding for the work of reproductive justice, to which we as a faith community are called. We'll affirm the sacredness of all bodies and the choices about them that are ours to make. We will also welcome new members to this community for the first in-person welcome ceremony since before COVID, which is awesome. A joyful morning indeed. And since there is no super smooth way to bridge those two things, I'm not even going to try. So I'd now like to invite up Jim, who will call us to worship.
Our responsive call to worship is number 437 in your gray hymnal. I'll read the regular text, and please respond with the text in italics. Let us worship with our eyes and ears and fingertips.
Let us love the world through heart and mind and body.
We feed our eyes upon the mystery and revelation in the faces of our siblings.
We seek to know the wistfulness of the very young and the very old, the wistfulness of people in all times of life.
We seek to understand the shyness behind arrogance, the fear behind pride, the tenderness behind clumsy strength, and the anguish behind cruelty.
All life flows into a great common life if we will only open our eyes to our companions.
Let us worship not in bowing down, not with closed eyes and stopped ears.
Let us worship with the opening of all the windows of our beings, with the full outstretching of our spirits.
Life comes with singing and laughter, with tears and confiding, with a rising wave too great to be held in the mind and heart and body to those who have fallen in love with life.
Let us worship and let us learn to love.
Come, let us worship.
We all want freedom. The freedom to live and love without fear or condemnation. The freedom to be well and whole in body, mind, and spirit. The freedom to flourish in the brief but grace-filled lives we are so blessed to have on this precious earth. Our reproductive freedom is a necessary part of the wellness and flourishing that we all desire and that we all deserve. We light our chalice this morning in the spirit of this freedom. Our opening hymn this morning is Blessed Spirit of My Life. It's number 86 in your gray hymnal and will also appear on the screen. Dale will play it through once, and then I invite you to rise in body or in spirit and join in singing. Today, we welcome into membership of Allen Avenue Unitarian Universalist Church people who have chosen to join our community of faith. We are a free faith community. Becoming a member is a choice, a personal and spiritual decision, and membership comes with special rights and with responsibilities. Joining our church does not mean subscribing to a creed, but it does mean a serious commitment joining in our congregational mission to transform lives through the power of love, to celebrate diversity, encourage spiritual growth, and promote social responsibility as we travel with care on this earth. And to do our part to build a world of compassion, equity, and freedom. Membership means having the right to vote on congregational decisions, and it also means the responsibility of being a steward, of safeguarding the health of the congregation as a whole, so that it is here for others in the future. A congregation is a moving, living, changing thing. And so anytime new people join, we have the opportunity to grow together, to share and receive new ideas and new energy and new voices. Each of these people bring unique experiences and perspectives to this community, and we are so grateful for that. Today we have the joy of welcoming the following members, and as I call your name, please come forward and receive a welcome from Membership Chair Diane, Mary Michaels, Simone Palangi, Daniel Benedict, Corey Benedict, Jamie Benedict, Denise Curry, and Will Davis. So if you would actually come on forward up here so everybody can see you. Thank you. It is a joy to welcome each of you into this beloved community. We invite you to join in sharing the joys and responsibilities of membership. Will you covenant to join us in living out the principles and values of Unitarian Universalism and Allen Avenue's vision together in community? Sorry. If so, please say we will. Congregation, members of Allen A2U2 Church, will you welcome these new members into our congregation? Will you reach out to them in friendship and be open to their unique gifts and ideas? Will you extend a caring hand to each of them as we journey together in this beloved community? We will. Let us give our newest members a warm A2U2 welcome. You may be seated. So we're going to do something special today for our time for all ages. Thank you, Emily. And I want to start with a question. Does anybody know what a blessing is? Yes? Can anybody describe what a blessing is? It's a mitzvah. Anyone else? Do you know what a blessing is?
A blessing is like somebody sneezes.
Yes, you bless people when they sneeze. Absolutely. Do you want to say something? No, that's okay. So a blessing is all sorts of things. It's something we say to people when they sneeze. I don't know the history of that. And I didn't hear that, but that's okay. I think you're probably right. It's a way of wishing. Sometimes you have to sneeze into a tissue. That is absolutely right. So a blessing can be a way of wishing good things for someone or for something. It can be a way to say you deserve good things, or I believe you are special and important and amazing, or even just I love you. Who do you think can give a blessing? Anybody. Good Unitarian Universalist response. Anybody can give a blessing, and anybody can receive a blessing. We Unitarian Universalists believe that all of us are connected and that we all have the ability to provide one another with blessings and wish ourselves and others well. We can use good wishes or thoughts to wish one another well. Some of us believe we can wish one another well on behalf of God, which is amazing. And so, some of us also believe we bless one another by our kind words and our actions. So what we're going to do today is use our own love, bless you, is use our own love to provide blessings for our bodies. This is a way of telling our bodies, I love you, and I promise to show you that I love you, because I know you are a good body. Our RE participants have been and will continue to be learning about spiritual practices in their sessions. And so today we join in the spiritual practice of blessing. And Emily is going to come up and help me. So what we're going to do first is bless our heads. You might want to touch your hands to your forehead, or you might just direct some love and attention there. And I invite you, if you wish, to repeat after me. May I be blessed with wisdom and knowledge. My body is a good body. Next, we're going to bless our throats. You might want to touch your throat or indirectly direct your love and attention there. And I invite you to repeat after me. May I speak the truth. May I speak the truth. And listen with love. My body is a good body. Now we're going to bless our hearts. May my heart be full. And blessed with love. My body is a good body. Now our bellies. My body is holy. And belongs to me. My body is a good body. Now we're going to wrap our arms around our whole body to give ourselves a hug. And we'll say together, I bless my mind, body, and spirit. My body is a good body. I am whole, holy, and loved. May you remember that you are blessed, and may you remember that you are also called to be a blessing to others. At this time, Emily will invite up today's lamplighter.
Can I be it? Can I be it?
Okay, next week. It's very exciting to have so much enthusiasm for our lamplighting ritual. In a few moments, some of us will leave the sanctuary to enjoy religious education programming. But first, I invite our lamplighters, Candace and Roman, to join me in the pulpit. A lamplighter is entrusted to transfer the light of the sanctuary chalice to the lamp, and then go forth to RE spaces where they will light the chalices there. Roman and his mom will now light the lamp. Got it. There you go. I invite those going to RE to follow the lamplighter as we carry the flame, expanding our sacred space.
We are a freely gathered, open, and welcoming faith community, supported by our contributions. Each week, 1/3 of our offering is given away to a nonprofit organization whose mission aligns with our Unitarian Universalist principles. This month's Share the Plate recipient is Out Maine, whose mission is to build welcoming and safe communities for Maine's LGBTQ+ youth. You can find more information about this in your order of service. Donations can be made now as the basket is passed through the donate button on our website, or if you are a member, you can go to Breeze. If giving through Breeze, please note if the donation is for your pledge or a gift to our Share the Plate. You may also mail a check directly to the church. If you are visiting us for the first time this morning, please know that your presence is your gift to us. At this time, our offering will be collected and gratefully received.
Good morning. My name is Nadine Chase Ortiz, and my pronouns are she and her. Our reading this morning is entitled The Power to Choose by Reverend Dr. Rebecca Parker from her sermon in 2004 entitled For All That Is Our Life. She writes, "Why does it matter that reproductive choices be protected? Because we live in a broken world where life is at risk in many ways. The power to choose is the power of life in the midst of brokenness. Without choice, tragedy, impasse, and despair are the last word. With choice, creativity, responsibility, and possibility enter the conversation. With choice, human beings enter into fuller personhood, becoming creative agents in the world who can transform life in the direction of greater justice, safety, and joy. A society in which human beings accept that life and death are in their hands is a better society. Embracing creativity and responsibility is a spiritual value that applies beyond the questions of pregnancy and childbirth. To know that we have choice is to know that life is not predetermined, that we do not simply have to comply with established strictures, rote patterns, or the dictates of despair. It is to know that we are not helpless in the face of overwhelming events. We all need the spiritual knowledge that life and death are in our hands, and that we all need to do the hard work of ethical discernment, of accepting that life and death are ours to choose. Where there is choice, there is life. Where there is life, there is hope. And where there's hope, we find ourselves holding bundles of joy in our arms. Thank you.
Without choice, Rebecca Parker writes, tragedy impasse, and despair are the last word. With choice, creativity, responsibility, and possibility enter the conversation. With choice, human beings enter into fuller personhood, becoming creative agents in the world who can transform life in the direction of greater justice, safety, and joy. 1 month ago, this country should have marked the 50th anniversary of Roe v. Wade, the landmark 7-2 decision protecting the right to bodily autonomy and choice. We would have been celebrating 50 years of bodily autonomy for all people, 50 years of people deciding if and when they will have children, 50 years of the fundamental right to privacy for men and women and trans and non-binary people, 50 years of patients deciding with their providers what's best for their health and their bodies without the intervention of federal or state governments. But, as we know, this past June, our U.S. Supreme Court ruled to overturn Roe v. Wade in the case Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health Organization, taking away a fundamental right from the American people for the first time in our history. Now, inspired by this should have been anniversary, UU ministers across the country have been preaching about reproductive justice this month in hopes that we might clarify the Unitarian Universalist stance on these issues and recommit collectively to this work. And I want to clarify that when I talk about reproductive justice, I'm talking about much more than the right to have an abortion. The term reproductive justice was developed in the 1990s by women of color and includes, as defined by Sister Song, a woman of color reproductive justice collective, not just the right to have an abortion, but the human right to maintain personal bodily autonomy, have children, not have children, and parent the children we have in safe and sustainable communities. To maintain personal bodily autonomy, have children, not have children, and parent the children we have in safe and sustainable communities. Reproductive justice is, by nature, an intersectional approach to bodily autonomy that takes into account race, class, gender identity and expression, sexual orientation, and ability as they pertain to accessing human rights. When we talk about reproductive justice, we're talking about abortion, and we're talking about access to contraception and comprehensive sexuality education, like our OWL program. We're talking about the prevention and care of sexually transmitted illnesses. We're talking about prenatal and pregnancy care, affordable child care, domestic violence prevention and response, gender-affirming health care, adequate wages to support families, alternative birth options, and more. Reproductive justice is a big umbrella term under which it is affirmed that our bodies, all of our bodies, are a blessing. All of our bodies are sacred, holy, and whole, as we affirmed in our Time for All Ages. And all people have the right to be in control of their bodies at all times. And one of the reasons it can be so hard to talk about reproductive justice is that it has, like many issues in our country especially, become heavily politicized. And we are free in this country to disagree, and we are free in this church to disagree. In fact, we are encouraged to do so, as is our theological ancestry. But for many Unitarian Universalists, talking about a politicized issue isn't actually what is hardest about this topic. What's harder is talking about faith. Many UUs are more comfortable talking about their politics than they are talking about their faith. Does that ring true for any of you? I saw some nods. Which makes this even harder to talk about, because to me, reproductive justice is not a political issue. It is a faith issue, an area of justice to which I believe our faith tradition has a clear call, that we have as a denomination taken a stance throughout history in which there is a remarkable clarity, not in if it aligns with our values, but how and why. We know how our faith calls us to act in the world. We know. But we're not so great at explaining why, at putting our faith into words, at saying why we believe what we believe with clarity and without shame. Now, many pro-life individuals take a religious stance, believing that abortion is a violation of their religious rights. I have a number of Catholic and conservative Christian friends and colleagues who fall into this category. And let me tell you, arguing with someone's religious beliefs is impossible. I've tried. I've never won. But the thing is, this is a religious issue for us, too. These are religious issues for us, too. We who are Unitarian Universalist are not always quite as savvy at naming our religious commitment to reproductive justice, but it is a religious commitment. The lack of access to safe and legal abortion, and the lack of bodily autonomy for women and queer people is a violation of our religious liberties. The religious liberties of Unitarian Universalists and religious liberals more broadly. We might struggle to find the words, but legislation that restricts bodily autonomy is a violation of our faith. Legislation that restricts bodily autonomy is a violation of our faith. It goes against what we teach our children. And our Unitarian Universalist movement has been speaking. We have taken a stance. Beginning in 1963, when the Unitarian Universalist Association, the UUA, published a statute on abortion reform, stating in part, "We as UUs are deeply concerned for dignity and rights of human beings, and the laws which narrowly circumscribe or completely prohibit termination of pregnancy be qualified by qualified medical practitioners are an affront to human life and dignity." Many UU ministers were active in these early years in the clergy consultation service, an underground interfaith network helping people seeking an abortion to get counseling and skilled medical care prior to Roe in 1973. In 1980, the UUA was part of the Religious Coalition for Abortion Rights, a group of 27 religious bodies that co-authored a statement, Call to Commitment, a religious statement on abortion. In 1991, a resolution of immediate witness was passed at General Assembly, naming the outrage over funding withheld from medical professionals who offered abortion as an option. The resolution of immediate witness asked UUs to contact their representatives and senators to take action on this issue and ensure access to choice for all. In 2015, a reproductive justice statement of conscience was passed at General Assembly, which lists actions Unitarian Universalists should take as individuals in our relationships and in our congregations. In May of 2022, a press release was published with a statement from President of the UUA, Reverend Susan Frederick Gray, reading, "As people of faith, this commitment to reproductive justice is part of our sincerest religious values. We know the most damaging impacts of overturning Roe will be felt by people of color, young people, poor and working class people, and those living in rural areas, all who even today do not have ready access to comprehensive and equitable reproductive care. Our faith still urgently calls us to advocate on behalf of all people and to be able to readily access safe, legal abortion care whenever and wherever they need it." That's a long history. At last year's General Assembly, Reverend Ashley Horan of the UUA's Side with Love campaign spoke about the theological grounding of our call to work for reproductive justice. She said, "This is a deeply theological commitment for us. A commitment to reproductive justice is a religious commitment. Our theology declares that we are each born with the twin gifts of agency and conscience, that our bodies are sacred, and every body is sacred, that our ability to create family in the way we want to, when we want to, how we want to, is part of our growth as spiritual beings and as communities, and that our liberation is bound up together, and none of us are free until all of us are free. This," she says, "is our theology. This is our theology." So, what then does our faith require of us? What is love's call? First, to listen to the stories of others, to believe them, and to learn. Just this weekend, I received a phone call from a loved one who shared they'd had an abortion this week. The state they live in made what was already a challenging decision and moment a complete nightmare. A complete nightmare. These laws have real impacts on real lives. And so we are called first to listen and to risk telling our own stories. We are called to deepen our understanding of reproductive justice issues, including sexuality, gender identity, classism, ableism, sexual violence, racism, and immigration. We are called to work to accept our own bodies and identities and care for ourselves and one another, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. And then we are called to speak out and vote and act and organize on behalf of our religious commitment, which affirms the inherent worth and dignity of every person, every body. So let us continue this legacy, continue on the path that our spiritual forebears laid for us, promoting always all that is holy, whole, and loved. May it be so. May we make it so. Amen. Our closing hymn this morning is in your teal hymnal. We are building a new way. As Dale plays it through once, you may rise in body or in spirit, and then let us join in singing. First, listen. First, listen and then learn from those whose lives are so different from yours. Then, passionately speak for justice on behalf of all, that all may live in health, wholeness, and love. Blessings for that journey. Our worship has ended and our service begins. Go in peace.